Hi, it's me again with Corel Tips and Tricks, and somebody sent me this logo yesterday, and it's for a really good organization that helps out special need people, and I'm always anxious to help them. And it trades pretty good, but I just wanted to give them a little bit of insight. That Cub Scout emblem is not going to trace. It's terrible. Everything else is going to trace pretty good. So all I did was reduce it in size and traced it. Didn't try to color it, change it to a bitmap, just traced it as normal clip art, and you can see it's done, and we can take the new one. Now we can expand it. And they need it to be black and white, and that's terrible. Well, a lot of things you don't think of, or some people don't think of, is you don't have to use that part of the logo. You can go to the internet and search Cub Scout Wolf. I did filter it and went extra large. And if you look right there, there's the exact emblem. And if we look at it, it is 1502 it's basically 15 by 15 dots per inch. So it's really good. And then just copy image, go back to Corel, paste. I mean, it's going to paste it really big, but you can reduce it. Now, it's still probably got a white background around it, but that'll be very easily fixed. Order, back a page, and as you can see, it's got a background around it. Now we can always click on it and go see if we can ungroup it, but we can't because needs to be traced. So it's not very big, so we're going to go outline, trace, clip art, and now you're going to get a really good trace. And if you look at that, and then we just need to remove the white. Very easily done. Go to Object, Group, and Ungroup. And then just start removing the white. Now there's some inner whites that you're going to have to click on individually. And this is one of those cases where you could almost move the black out of the way, but there's not that many whites. Now we could do a find and replace and find the whites and reduce them. One more and you're done, because I don't know what they're going to grade this on. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the yellow box and go and get rid of the registered trademark. And then I'm going to group this thing together, Control G. Now we can take our traced logo. Let me move these out of the way. And bring in our new trace item. Put it roughly where it needs to be and roughly the size it needs to be. So we're going to make it a little bit bigger. And then we can nudge that out. I'm going to set my nudge factor on like 2 inches. We can nudge that out of the way. Well, I must have broke up. So if you ever had that problem, just re-click it. So I nudge that out of the way, and then I can just start nudging this stuff out of the way. And I evidently got part of that. And we're going to make that black. Well, can't do that. So what we can do, let's tell you what, let's nudge this back. I need to set my nudge factor on something bigger because I didn't realize how big I made this. We'll make it 10 inches. And let's see if we can't left click, right click. Now we got an outline. Now let's nudge that over, and we can use the Smart Fill tool, set on black. And then you got to figure out whether you want some separation on that paw print, because it's right there. We can make it all black and move it over. There's no separation between the letters. The Scout Me came out pretty good. I'm pretty sure, I know he's going to grade this, so you don't really want this shadowing or this trash. And you could actually retype this out with a font that's relatively close. And of course, we want to make everything black. There's actually a little gray there. But I would suggest, unless this is really has to be dead on, I just typed out a new text for that. The only other thing I want to bring up is I could not find a font for this patchwork, which really probably doesn't matter, but I thought I'd show real quick how you could draw these letters. I just picked letters off the internet to do this one. But if, the 4 would be really, really easy. The 0 to me is really easy. For the 0, let's just take a box. I'm going to go ahead and make it yellow so maybe you can see it better on the screen. And then I'm just going to slowly curve it in, kind of like the box itself. And then I'm going to control D to make a duplicate of that. Well, I don't think I had it selected. Control D. And then I'm just going to, holding in the shift key, I'm going to bring that in. Now, it did it from the center, so we need to just change this. And it's hard for me to see that, so I'm sure on your screen you're having trouble. And we've probably got a little bit more round than we need to, but if you look at this, if we take the Smart Fill tool, well, can't really do that yet. Let's take our yellow lines and nudge them over, and then take the Smart Fill tool. And if that doesn't look like that 0, we're a little bit off. So what we need to do is left click, right click, and go CE on your, see we have 2 copies. Go CE, we might have 2 copies of this. So just go CE or EC for some reason. Okay, that must be a break the curve apart. Now go CE, and it's going to put it in the center. And then if that doesn't look like that part of that 0, same thing with the 6. The 4 is just lines. The 4, 2-point line. You could actually probably use a rectangle on part of this. But I'm just drawing straight lines. I should be holding down the control button, but I'm not. That way they'd be perpendicular. And I think we got them all. Now let's move that out of the way. Nudge it all the way over there. I need a bottom line. And you can see I should have held down the control buttons because some of the lines aren't perpendicular, but we can always fix that. We're going to join those 2 lines. Need the 2-point line. And we can always move these nodes and manipulate these nodes. But what I want to do first is to weld it. And I could do this, but that's a lot easier. And then just take the Smart Fill tool and fill that in. Doesn't look near as bad now. Left click, right click. And we just need to, make these nodes straight. So I would suggest take 2 nodes and go up to align nodes vertically. You see what it did? And these 2 must be off. Grab those 2, align vertically. The whole thing must be a little bit off. Align these vertically. So I should have held down the control button and it would have made these straight, but we can align every node. Whoop, I should have said horizontally. And that looks pretty good. Let's Smart Fill it. And I think the 6 is equal as easy. And, if you look, of course, we need to put it over here with the other ones. And then you would want to draw a box around them to make them, if they want them to look like the patches. I'm having a little bit of trouble deleting that. If they want it to, the numbers are, they want some patches. So let's just draw a rectangle. Let's turn it yellow so maybe you can see it. I should make it a little bit thicker. I'm going to make it a little bit thicker so you can see it on your video. Too thick. And then just, probably the best thing to do on this would be to contour it. Go Effects, Contour. I don't know how big it is to the inside. Nope, not enough. So let's go 0.3 and see what it is. Too much. 0.09. That's pretty close. Let's go 0.1. There we go. Let's say that's good enough. And then just nudge those. They're a contour, so they'll be together. So just move them both apart. And that's only if you want a box. And then go to Object. Need to select it all. And go up to Object and break the contour apart. Then you can make these both black. And actually reduce them in, I'd reduce them in thickness. And then let's say that's that's not the better of the 4. Let's try to grab the 4. Let's take the 4 we did. Sorry if I'm having to move stuff all around. And if there's two trains of thought here to do this. If you ever have trouble selecting an item, just make sure you just select it. And we could go C and E. But that's going to make it look like the patch. Or you could do this. You could select your number and left click, right click, make sure that's not a hairline. And then take your Smart Fill tool and fill that in with black. And it's going to reverse it, engrave it. Or then you could take a really light gray to make the patch outline. But I would take away the lines just to make sure. Anyway, I hope that helped them just a little bit. And thank you for watching.